down and die, oh not I will survive, yeah, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live, I've got all my love to give. I will survive, I will survive, yeah, yeah.
This is Survival Tips. Everything you need to know about the SOS Triathlon. We're here at beautiful Minnewaska State Park, home of the SOS Triathlon. And today we're going to learn about how you can carry your shoes with you across the lakes that you have to swim in the SOS Triathlon. So come along as we head down to the water along with swim expert Mike Hallstedt, who's going to show us how to swim with your shoes. Hi, I'm Keith Strudler, and welcome to our first episode of Survival Tips. We're here at beautiful Minnewaska State Park, which is site of the SOS Triathlon. And I'm here with Mike Hallstedt, who is a world-renowned elite-level triathlete who has participated in 19 SOS Triathlons. That's correct. And has finished second more times than we know how to count. But I can't count very high, so that doesn't really matter. So in Survival Tips, we're going to be giving you some tips to help you get through the SOS Triathlon for those who are uninitiated, a little bit nervous about the process. And one of the most daunting things for a lot of first-time SOS triathletes is figuring out how to swim with their shoes. Because unlike most triathlons, in the SOS, you've got to cross these lakes with everything you have on you. So Mike is going to be our dummy, if you will, to help us learn how to swim with our shoes.
I can play that role pretty well.
All right, there you go. It's a character actor. So, Mike, give me a few tips about how to swim across this lake with your shoes during the SOS.
Well, I guess the first thing that you want to think about is, do you have to keep your shoes dry? So if you have to keep your shoes dry in order to run 18 miles without tons of blisters by the finish, then you have to develop some sort of waterproof bag, and you're going to drag it behind you or use it as a pull buoy, which has been done. But I will tell you that most of the time when someone has attempted that, they end up saying that it didn't work. It was an anchor. It filled up with water during the first or second or third lake.
And do you find that most of the people that finish in the top half of the race end up using that system or using another system?
I think most of the guys and girls that are fast that end up doing well in it don't worry about keeping the shoes dry. They just put their shoes inside their bathing suit somehow and swim with that.
So they're swimming with their shoes and their shorts.
Swim with their shoes and their shorts. So
okay.
There's a couple different ways. If you're going to be going just with shorts during the whole thing, a lot of people will do one in the front and one in the back.
That seems very uncomfortable and difficult to wear in social situations.
Very difficult to wear in social situations. But this is a way that they're out of your way. You can swim with them just like this. I like this. I like one in the front, one in the back. I've also done it many times, both in the back. That works pretty well. One thing you want to think about is your shoe is usually a little higher at the heel than it is in the toe. So put your toes up so you're swimming, so it's more hydrodynamic as you're swimming. You're more streamlined in that direction. Another one that's gaining popularity lately is put it right here. So you would shove it up in here and swim just like that. That way they're out of the water for the most part, pretty streamlined, and they're comfortable. They're not in the way. A lot of times if you have a lot here, then as you're stroking through, you'll hit them occasionally.
I'm trying not to make inappropriate jokes while we're doing this. So
there's so many. There's a lot of fodder for you.
So, all right. So give me another tip. What are some other tips you think about as you're thinking about shoving your shoes in your shorts at some point?
Well, think about what you're running on, the terrain, and it's gravel, right? So there's going to be a lot of there's gravel in my shoes right now. So what's going to happen when you put these inside your shorts? You're going to have gravel inside your shorts. Not a good thing to have when you still have to run for miles and miles. So I would recommend that you always wear a Speedo or something underneath the shorts that you're wearing, and make sure that as little gravel and dirt as possible gets inside that Speedo.
Okay, and do you find that when you're swimming with shoes inside your shorts or your tri-suit that it slows you down in the water?
It does. It slows you down a little bit, but it's not putting them inside your shorts slows you down much less than if you leave them on.
Okay. Now, this all sounds very exciting. I think one of the great ways to practice might be to just wear shorts in your work clothing every day when you go to work as you lead up to the SOS. But since that's impractical for most people who don't work in shoe stores, I think the best thing we could do now is maybe see if Mike could demonstrate a couple of different versions. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to try one with tri-shorts, which a lot of people wear, and then maybe try one with a tri-suit, which is very popular, where people might be using a slightly different system of shoving their shorts down their shoes.
We can go through that when I get to that.
All right, so we'll take a little break, and in just a minute, we'll see Dr. Mike running down the trail and demonstrating how to put his shoes in his shorts and jump into the lake. All right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, welcome back to Survival Tips. In just a minute, our elite level triathlete, Dr. Mike Halstead, is going to be running down and showing us how to put his shoes into his tri-shorts for the SOS and start swimming. And he's also going to display to us then how to come out and do a transition back to running. So any second now, Dr. Mike's going to be running right on down. So here we go. All right, as you can see, he's taking his shoes off, shoving one in the back of his suit and one in the front. And is this the technique that most people use, Mike?
I think it's just as often people put both in the back.
All right, so could you show us how to put both shoes in the back?
I can do that.
You have a very nice physique. Years of training. Not every SOS triathlete has to look this good. All right, Mike. Now, can you expect these transitions to take a little bit of time? Is that?
A little. The quicker you can do it, the better, right?
All right. All right, and you already had your swim cap on. Is that a good idea?
Absolutely. I think, a couple hundred yards up the trail, you put your swim cap on, you put your goggles on, you're ready to go.
Okay, so we're good to go, right?
We're good to go.
All right, head on in. So now Mike's going to jump in the water and do a little bit of swimming for us. As you can see, he walks in, dives under, and it doesn't really seem to impact the stroke really at all. Now, he's a very nice stroke here. The shoes tend to float near the top of the surface. They're flat against his back. He's got a very nice stroke. All right, and he's going to bring it back on into us now. And this would be the end of his swim. Great form as always. Probably popping his head up every now and then. Yeah, see, so he knows where he's going. And he's going to sight the rock. And goggles off. Shoes, now they come out pretty easily?
Come out pretty easy.
All right, pretty easy. Do you have to sit down or can you stand?
I usually stand.
Okay. And if you have trouble, can you sit?
Sure.
All right. They pop out. You would recommend elastic laces, of course.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we're ready to go.
He's off. Back on for the next run. Okay, now we just saw Mike Halstead put his shoes in the back of his shorts in a similar way. A lot of people use a different technique with tri-shorts. So now we're going to see Mike come in and put his shoes into his shorts a slightly different way for some of you that might be looking for a different option. So here comes Dr. Mike right now, back down the trail. All right, Mike, what are we going to be doing here?
We're going to go in the back of my leg.
The back of the leg.
Go right up in here.
Now, what's the advantage of that?
They're out of the way.
Okay.
Maybe it's a little bit easier.
Sure. You don't have to reach as high up.
That's true.
And sometimes when they're all the way in the top there, don't they feel a little bit like they're jostling around or something like that?
They do. This way, they're definitely tighter, and you can get the elastic underneath the bottom of them, so they're going nowhere.
So you want some nice tight shorts when you're wearing this, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean you got to be able to get them in there. But yeah, the tighter probably
the elastic shouldn't be worn out at the bottom.
Right.
All right. And how's that feel to swim?
Feels great.
All right.
Here we go again?
Here we go. Let's jump in. Notice they're not sliding out. Back on the back of his leg. He's still able to kick. And he's swimming out. And he'll bring it on back in. And I think for some people, this might actually be an easier way if they can get him in this way because they don't have to go all the way up to their back. And sometimes in the really cold water, you're going to cramp up a little bit. So if you can lean down a little bit lower, there won't be nearly as much of a chance to cramp, since there are a lot of people get calf cramps when they're coming out of the water. Okay. Mike, what do you do when you get a calf cramp when you're coming out of the water?
Scream, curse.
Scream. There you go. Survival tips 101. That helps.
What do you do, Keith, when you get a calf cramp coming out of the water?
I usually get a massage. I usually travel with a massage, a team. They follow me around the course.
Here we go.
All right, and he's off. All right, So we just saw a couple of examples of how to use tri-shorts. Now in just a second, we're going to be talking about another form of clothing that you can wear, perhaps, that might be more beneficial to other people who don't like to go with just shorts. Okay, welcome back to Survival Tips. And Mike, you changed to a prom dress.
I have. This is the outfit I've worn the past couple of years for SOS.
And what is this?
One-piece tri-suit.
Okay, it's a tri-suit. How is that different than the shorts?
Well, I like it better because you get the shorts completely contained inside it. I think you're more streamlined, and the shoes don't push as much water in front of you. My shoes will be completely contained inside the zipper.
So instead of just using your lower body to kind of contain the shoes, you can use the entire suit to kind of keep your shoes in.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, just kind of on an ancillary note, do you feel any difference running with a tri-suit versus running with just shorts?
I don't. I think some guys might, but I don't.
Nothing a little body lube won't take care of.
Exactly.
All right. And that'll take care of just about anything, by the way. So when you're putting shoes into a tri-suit, tell me a little bit about what you're going to do.
I think once again, make sure you have a Speedo or something on underneath it, so that you're not getting any gravel right down into your.
Or an unintentionally quick pull down, or something like
exactly.
that. Yes. Tie it to.
But then I will do something like this, and then.
So both in the front.
I like both in the front, just because it's quick. I think you're probably a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more efficient. One in the front,
it does
one in the
have
back.
a pregnancy effect, by the way. Women, if you'd like your husband to experience something of what you may have gone through.
It's a good look. Yeah, it's a good look.
Yep. Sorry, you ate the chili, huh? So they're on the front. Do any people put it in the back when they do this?
I have done one in the front, one in the back, but it takes a lot longer.
Okay.
And as long as you don't mind taking the suit down to your waist, then it's fine to work like that. But it does take a little bit longer to crank it down, and then you get one in the front, one in the back. You got to put it back up. And of course, that's times two because you're doing that on your way into the water and on your way out of the water.
And could you actually do both in the back if you felt like it?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So that you have options with the tri-suit, maybe even a few more than you might have with the tri-shorts.
Sure. You could do both in the back or both in the front.
And you could even use the legs with the tri-suit as well.
You could. That's true.
Right, so you've got a lot of options. All right, Mike, you think you could take us through a dry run, or a wet run of doing this with the tri-suit on?
I think I can do that.
All right, great. And running on in, back into the water. And I'm sure you could actually unzip that before you get there if you want, right?
You could.
Okay. Just get a couple extra seconds on your friends, neighbors, comrades. Shoes in the front, and that's an easy zip up.
Easy zip
Now
up.
you don't want that too tight now, do you, that tri-suit?
I don't think it could be too tight.
But I mean, do you buy the right size or do you buy a size bigger?
I buy the right size.
You buy the right size, and it'll stretch.
It gets stretched.
It'll stretch. All right, so there we go. And let's see a little swimming with the shoes in the front there. And this is going to be the easiest transition to getting them back on because they're right here in front of him. Right? So it's not like he has to reach down or anything. Easy in, easy out. And you probably want to practice a little bit with that zipper. If you have a really small zipper, you might want to get used to that. So those go on pretty easy. No cramping?
No cramping yet.
No cramping. Water nice and warm right now?
Water's nice and warm.
Of course, right now it is mid-August. And don't be afraid to kneel down to put these on. You don't have to stand up. If you have to sit down, that's okay as well, isn't it?
Sure.
Mike, do you have any final tips?
Well, I think that there's a lot of, I think the different methods are going to work different for you versus me. Pick a few and practice.
So should I go down to my local pool when I'm doing a swim workout and try swimming with some shoes?
If you want to get some attention, sure.
All right. But so you try this over and over again. Have you ever swam with the shoes on? Just gotten so frustrated?
I have actually swam with the shoes on a couple times, but only for one reason. You're really, really slow with your shoes on. They really are an anchor. And the only reason I've left them on is because I have been cramping so much. Once, I was afraid to take them off, thinking that my cramps are so bad that I wasn't going to be able to put them back on.
Hopefully you will not be in that situation. That's pretty much it for this episode of Survival Tips. We'll be seeing you back for some other great survival tips in the upcoming weeks. And for Mike Hallstatt, I'm Keith Strudler. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you on top of Skytop.